All right, I just finished knitting across the second sock, the second one on this row. So now I'm going to turn because it said knit to last stitch and turn. So here I am turning. I have to move my yarn. All right, the next one, row 2, says yarn back, purl 1, purl to last stitch, turn. So if I understand this correctly, what we are now going to do is short rows. So we're not actually starting at the tip of the toe, we're starting at sort of the base of the toe, what we would call the metatarsal phalangeal joints. So where the feet meet the toes. That's the feet bones meet the toe bones. That's where we're starting this toe. We're going to knit distally. We're going to knit from the metatarsal phalangeal joints out to the tips of the toes, and then we're going to knit back. So we're not starting at the tip and moving forward, is what I understand this to be. So often in short rows you do a wrap and a turn. Here we're just starting at the beginning, so we're not going to do a wrap. We're going to have the yarn in the back, and now we're going to purl. So to purl with the yarn in the back, we actually have to bring the yarn over the needle to bring it into position to purl. So I brought the yarn over the needle, and now I'm going to purl it. There it is. Yarn over, purl. Yarn back, purl 1. So that was what created this yarn over and purl pair. So now I have a yarn that's wrapped around. It automatically created the wrap for me, which is really nifty. Now I'm going to purl to the last stitch. So yarn over, yarn back, purl 1, purl to last stitch, and then turn. But remember, I'm doing 2 socks at once, so I'm not going to turn immediately. I'm going to move on to my other sock. So I get to try it both times. So I think this is a really nifty way to do short rows now that I try it. This is the sort of thing where I look at the pattern and I can't possibly imagine what it's going to be like, but then once I have the yarn in my hands, which this actually was the very first time I've done this, so I sat down with the yarn in my hands and suddenly it made so much more sense. I didn't imagine that it was going to actually wrap the stitch like that. I thought it was going to be a yarn over the needle, but it actually really wrapped the stitch, just like in the way I'm used to doing short rows. So I'm still purling, purling, purling. I don't know if you can even see what I'm doing. The sun is setting. It is 7:15 p.m. I've had a really long day. I would like to go home, but I also really wanted to make this video, and I know if I go home I'm gonna lose the light, and I'm just gonna wish that I'd done it. Where? This is weird because now right here I just have mohair. So something screwy. You gotta go back in there and get my other yarn. Somehow I dropped the main yarn and kept the mohair going. Alright. Bring the mohair out. Go through here. Grab those 2 together. 1, 2. Mohair makes it really hard to find mistakes. That's one thing I learned when I knit a shawl out of that black mohair. Man, that was hard. And also, when I messed it up and I had to rip out, it was so hard to work with after that. So anyway, I'm glad there's some natural light, but it's coming through the window kind of funky. And I think it might make it, it's making it kind of hard to see what I'm doing. Anyway, so I did yarn back, purl 1, purl to last stitch. Okay, but instead of turning, I'm going to get my other yarn. So now I'm back to the black and pink. My tension already. Pull that out of the ball a little more. Okay. So I'm going to tension up my yarn. Yarn to the back. Yarn is in the back. And now I'm going to purl. So the yarn has to come over the needle. Then I grab it. And get the mohair there. pretty awkward, but I got it. Okay, so now I've automatically wrapped my stitch, and now I'm going to purl the rest of the way back. All right, I'll meet you at the end of the row.